Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Plaks Playtest. Jetzt mit der nächsten Folge The Bureau XCOM Declassified. Das ist jetzt Folge 5 und ja, ich wünsche euch viel Spaß dabei. Wir fangen direkt da wieder an, wo wir aufgehört haben, und weiter geht's.
Lights. We are at war, and not the one we were expecting. Groom range, 2100 hours. Survivors, 6. In just a few minutes, our enemy managed to destroy the primary strategic command center. By 2130, Strategic Command itself ceased to exist. Our combined military forces have been routed. The comms have gone dark. The red phone will not be ringing. And that is why, as of now, I, Myron Falk, am assuming command of what's left of our nation's defenses. The Bureau was founded to coordinate resistance forces in the event of a complete and successful Soviet invasion. That mission remains the same, even if our enemy does not. We now face an opponent from beyond our world, whose identity is yet unknown. But make no mistake, this enemy has crippled us. They have technology decades beyond what we possess. We must make it our own. Their weapons will become our weapons, and when they do, we shall annihilate them. I give you new orders. Survive, adapt, win. Welcome to XCOM.
A year? Will, you can't go on for a year.
I'm sorry, Jules. The country needs me.
Your family needs you.
No! No, I can help them. Let me help them!
Will. Carter. Hey, Will, wake up.
What?
Jesus, Carter. How is it you look worse than before you went to sleep?
I'm fine. And you yelling for me to wake up doesn't help.
I wasn't the one yelling.
I haven't slept more than a couple hours in years.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't worry about it. Like I said, this is our office and our bunks. Maybe someday they'll get the barracks up and running.
No, I mean, I barely sleep at all.
Well, can't say I blame you. Not after the morning you had. Anyway, Falk's looking for you. Wants you in his office. ASAP, as always.
Well, I guess you can't really hold knocking off for a few against me, seeing as how we seem to be in our office and our quarters.
Yeah, I guess some parts of the emergency plan leave something to be desired. Ah well, it'll be just like college, right?
Yeah, except I stayed in Mrs. Hawthorne's boarding house back in Terre Haute. Had my own bathroom and everything.
Well, ain't you fancy.
The old man say what he wanted with me?
Ha! Guess you don't know him all that well yet. The director doesn't tell anyone anything he doesn't think they need to know.
Were you saying something about that radio?
Oh yeah. Cheap thing normally just pipes in the company elevator music, but it's been picking up some weird signal. Damned if I know what it is.
Don't we have more important issues to deal with?
Sure, that's why I haven't bothered with it. But if someone on the outside is able to broadcast through that jamming signal, well, it could be important.
Who would know more about this?
Check with Operator Chelsky. She's information officer for the Bureau. Keeps track of communications, arranges contacts, manages what the public hears. The whole deal.
I'd better go see what the old man wants.
See you later, Will.
So, also wir können das Radio prüfen. Da ist das Radio.
2. Message repeats. 250.
Better make a note of this and talk to one of the radio operators.
9.
You probably ought to run that by Operator Chelsky across
Message
the hall.
repeats.
Might be important.
250. November 892.
Na dann schauen wir mal nach. So, was will der? Der hat einen
What is it,
Text.
Will?
Nee, hat er nicht.
I'd better go see what the old man wants.
Jetzt haben
See
wir
you later,
Anzeige.
Will.
So, da hinten haben wir Communications. Wunderbar. Na,
You the dispatcher?
A little more than that, Agent Carter. I'm Chief Information Officer with the Bureau.
Information officer, what does that mean?
I oversee the dispatchers, but in addition to that, I also manage our public communications and keep our profile low. And for now, my job is also keeping the public from knowing the scope of the threat.
Because rioting mobs of civilians are the last thing we need right now.
Exactly. You and your agents contain the enemy's attacks, and my operators will keep the public panic level in check.
And if we can't keep the enemy contained,
In that case, civilian unrest is the least of our problems, isn't it?
isn't the enemy jamming all communications?
Yes, most broadcasting equipment is facing heavy interference, cutting effective range down to less than 5% of normal.
Then how are you...
Our equipment is significantly more robust. We're still communicating at approximately 90% of effective range. The best of the best, you know.
What does the population know?
They're worried about the communications blackout, but our operatives in the major cities are keeping them in line.
Keeping them in line. You make it sound like they've declared martial law.
Nothing as heavy-handed as that, just a series of emergency preparedness tests. They'll be tense, but orderly.
Radio's been playing a strange broadcast. Any idea what it means?
I heard. It's probably an automated weather station nearby, but I suppose it might be instructions for picking up a weaker signal. A clever broadcaster could bypass the worst of the jamming that way.
It could be survivors. We could bring them in.
It's worth checking out. I'll have Operator Hughes run the radio while you give us the data.
First set the range to... Set the range to 250.
Now the direction?
Zweite Zahl habe ich schon
Set the
gelernt.
direction west.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 892 megahertz.
Checking ultra-high frequency.
Try again. I know there's a message out there.
If you say so.
First set the range to... Set the range to 100.
Now the direction?
Set the direction north.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 155 kilohertz.
Checking low frequency.
I've taken enough of your time.
Yes, sir.
Ja, das muss ich. Also 250 war die erste Zahl. November die zweite, also das zweite und 892. Nicht aufgepasst. 892. So, los, los. Mal versuchen.
Yes, sir?
Radio's been playing a strange broadcast. Any idea what it means?
I heard. It's probably an automated...
It could be survivors. We could bring them in.
It's worth checking out.
First set the...
250.
Set the range to 250.
Now the direction?
Set the direction north.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 892 megahertz.
Checking ultra-high frequency. Nothing. Wait. What is... It's survivors. They're trying to warn others of the attack.
Reply. Tell them they aren't alone. We'll do what we can to assist.
We'll dispatch someone to help, but we'll also have to make sure they stop broadcasting immediately. We can't risk that information spreading.
As long as they get rescued.
Ja, super. Ein Problem weniger.
Yes, sir?
Gab's da noch was?
Thanks for the information.
Just doing my job.
Und... So, da ist nicht viel angekommen von der Info. Ganz tolle Computer hier. So, da ist der Ausgang. Dann schauen wir mal, wo wir hin müssen. Da hoch müssen wir. Aber ich bin ja neugierig. Also ein kurzer Blick durch die Reihen hier. Oh, nee. Ja, alles sehr hübsch gemacht. Viel Liebe zum Detail. Insgesamt sehr schöne Atmosphäre.
You were there. You saw what he was capable of.
I did. It's just... his file paints a different picture.
Okay, agents, let's begin. We going on another wild goose chase, Director? Not this time, agents. Because I brought in an expert agent who I expect to turn the tide. Allow me to introduce your new senior agent, Miss Angela Weaver. Agent Weaver, please begin.
Good evening, agents. Now, we have reason to believe our target is...
Is this some kind of joke?
I assure you, I do not joke about potential infiltration.
Come on, miss. Get back to reception and leave the real work to us, okay? Agent Percy, watch your tone.
Director, how many concrete cases of the outsiders have your agents uncovered to this date?
That would be 0.
And how many have I uncovered in my own investigations?
2 confirmed, 1 pending.
Thank you, Director. If I may continue...
Listen up, Agent Percy. Maybe you'll learn how to do your job. Yes, sir.
Now, we have reason to believe an infiltrator has compromised military command.
Okay, hier gibt es sonst nichts Interessantes da drin im Augenblick. Vielleicht gibt es später mehr. Hier nichts. Okay. Vollständige Überwachung
Speak of the
überall.
devil.
Carter, good. Agent Weaver is afraid you don't play well with others. I tend to see that as an asset.
Da gibt es noch eine Notiz. Aha. So, dann hören
Come
wir
over
uns
here, Carter.
das hier
I'd like
mal
a word.
ganz kurz an.
All signs show a pattern of systemic interference that cannot be explained by known enemies. Excellent work as always, Falk. But I'm not sure what you're suggesting. These activities aren't from the Reds. They aren't from any known source on Earth, so we must examine alternative sources. You mean to say, aliens? It's more likely than you think. We cannot afford to be caught off guard. Oh, okay, Myron. I think you've been working too hard. Take a little time off, maybe a vacation and... No, listen, this is too important to ignore. My team has already uncovered a half-dozen potential cases of outside interference. No, you listen. I have a meeting with the generals in 2 days, and I will not have you making a laughing stock out of this department. General Deems is already talking about cutting funding, and if that happens, you and your team will be out. Do you understand? Yes, Director. Perhaps you're right about that vacation. That's more like it. Someplace nice and sunny. Lots of fresh air, like New Mexico.
So, irgendwelche weiteren Dokumente, die man hier greifen könnte? Nein. Im Rücken zu den Monitoren. Interessante Stellung, aber egal, so.
What do you want from me, sir?
You're not here in this facility by chance. I brought you here quite purposefully. I've been following your career for some time.
Why me? I've been behind a desk since... well, for a while.
Yeah, but you were a hell of an agent before you sat behind that desk. And what's more, I know what put you behind that desk.
The brass put me there.
Sure, the brass made the call. But it was you who kept yourself there.
I don't need another round of psychobabble. I had enough of that from the company's shrinks after the incident.
It was an accident, Carter. Beyond your control.
Right, yeah. And next you tell me how I can't save everyone.
It's too late for that. But you can save some of them. And right now, that might be enough.
Right. Well, I'm with you, Falk. If only because, for all we know, this clown show you're running here is all that's left of our nation's defenses.
Then that makes you one of the nation's best weapons.
What do we know about the enemy?
Very little. Before this morning, we only knew of scattered oddities. We weren't even sure if they were connected.
Such as?
Deposits of the substance called Illyrium were found in various locations across the nation. There were weather oddities. We received and investigated reports of what we called thinnings. Localized instances where the very fabric of reality itself seemed to be warping, then dissolving.
And this was kept secret?
From whom? The populace? The news would have generated mass panic. No. The circle was kept quite small on this.
What is this place? I mean, when aliens from another world aren't attacking our planet.
This facility is essentially fulfilling its intended function right now. It was created to respond to a potential invasion on domestic soil.
Do all of these people work here?
No. Typically, you won't find much more than a skeleton crew here. But certain carefully selected individuals across all military disciplines are aware of this facility's existence. In the case of a domestic invasion, they're under orders to arrive here.
I never knew about this place.
Well, based on your performance at Groom Range, I'd say that omission was a grievous oversight.
What's our plan?
Our first order of business is to get this facility running at full capacity. I believe our best shot at defeating an enemy with superior technology is to take that technology from them and make it our own.
And we got the facilities to do that?
We're still finishing construction on the lab, but we've already got one of the best leading the team, Dr. Dresner. And he won't be doing it alone. I'm in the midst of organizing field teams to be sent on recon and recruitment missions for other specialists.
I'm heading down to the ready room.
De Silva will meet you there and help you assemble a team. Get moving.
So, die nächste Mission erhalten. Und bevor wir da hingehen, mache ich dann gerade den nächsten Cut. Und weiter geht's in der nächsten Folge. Ja, ich hoffe, es hat euch Spaß gemacht. Und wir sehen uns dann bei der nächsten Folge. Bis dann.